Josh, there was some interesting option shenanigans, or what I think were shenanigans, that I noted the other day on GME. I wanted to bring that to your attention and also talk about the trade we mentioned earlier this week and kind of show how that logic impacts what happened with the option irregularity that I caught the other day, if you're ready.
Oh, yeah, let's go right into it.
Gotcha. So if you write a call, that is, if you sell a call, you're obligated, but not necessarily determined that will happen, that you might actually have to deliver underlying shares of options. And so what you see right here on the screen, someone wrote a GME call where they said, I'm willing to sell 100 shares of GME. So it was one contract. But what's interesting about this was that the date of the call was for January of 2023. Anyways, what you want to note from this is that the option was exercised, as you can see on the screen. This meant that whoever bought the option said, hey, listen, I want to, take delivery of the shares, and that did occur. The question mark that I can't figure out on all of this is that if someone is using options to take delivery of an underlying share, which is perfectly fine. I mean, that's one of the reasons you might buy an option if you just don't want to speculate on the price. Why buy an option dated for January 2023 when you could buy the same option, let's just say dated for January 2022? On this next graphic, what you'll see is you'll see the same option, but this is actually, so if you were to buy this option right now, it'd be about $2,100 and change, excuse me, $21,000 and change. But if you look at that same option, instead of a January 2023 expiry, and you look at January 2022, you'll note that the price drops to 20,000 and change. And this is the thing that I can't figure out. In other words, if you are going to use this as your method to take delivery of 100 shares, why not buy the cheaper option of January 2022 versus January 2023? Makes no sense to me. Probably because I'm missing something. But anyways, Josh, your thoughts?
I don't understand the plumbing of the markets well enough to really give a good comment. And this is something that I'm really working on to understand and study. But right now it doesn't make sense. If something doesn't smell right, if it doesn't look right, and it's just your gut tells you it's not right, it's probably not right. And I don't know what's fishy about it. I don't think you know what is actually fishy about it, but there's something fishy about it.
Yeah.
That's the only conclusion that I'm coming to.
Yeah, and it's just what I'd say on the surface level is that, okay, well, it's fine if you want to use options to take delivery, but why on earth are you buying a more expensive option when a theoretically cheaper option exists? I mean, who isn't, not even God is in the business of losing money. So
Yeah. And something
whatever.
else I don't understand, but this is something that I question is it a one-to-one? I don't think so. If me and you are the only two party members in the option
Mm,
chain, and I'm selling you a call of GME,
mm,
is this a one-to-one? Yes, I'm transacting with you, but there's also thousands of other people making these transactions. So
yeah.
who do they call upon when someone tries to exercise their option? Are they calling on you, the person who I made the decision with, or is it randomized with everyone, or do they have to kind of go through everybody? And I don't know. I will know, but as of right now, I do not have the knowledge to give a good answer.
Mm.
So right now, it's just a question.
Yeah, like I'm kind of right there with you. The way I understand it is that the option, the OCC, not to confuse with the option clearing, the Office of the Comptroller of Currency from yesterday's video, but the Options Clearing Corporation, a sister company for the DTCC, the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation, ultimately it's the thing that, or the entity that got it. It's the central counterparty for all these option trades. And my suspicion is, and this is what I read, although I haven't verified, that when a call is made for an option, it's just simply luck of the draw. Some people will get it, others won't. But in any event, nonetheless, that's what it was. And that still doesn't go back to the original question of why use January 2023 options when you can use January 2022 options and save $1,000. But,
Yeah.
anyways, further thing. But I also wanted to kind of focus on the time of this and also show the time horizon and how it changes the option price much more in the short term. So one of my favorite people I like to follow in GME is a guy named PieFi, or goes by Papa, or he's affectionately known as Papa Pickle on that. And I'm about to throw up the current open interest for GME calls for November 26, which you can see right now. And what I wanted to do is, this is circling back to the trade we mentioned from an earlier video. You buy one call that's relatively close to the money, but not quite in the money. You buy another, maybe two calls a little further out of the money, and then maybe four calls. So that's your risk appetite. a little further than that out of the money. And the reason you would do this is you would use a weekly option. So it's very much, if you don't get this right, you're not getting anything back. But if you do get it right, you'll have quite a pop. And what you can note right here is that when we walk through the next three slides, you'll see the various entry points for this. So, for example, if you were to buy one option so right now GME is at 207 and change. So the out of the money call that we're looking at, it's just out of the money is for $207.50. You buy one of those calls, and it's going to run you just say about $1,000 and change. The second call you would look at, and you might buy two of these, would be the one in purple right here for a $215 strike price, and it'll set you back $780 times two, assuming you choose your appetite. And the last call option is going to be in red, and it's going to be a strike price of 220. And let's see, maybe we want to get four of those. But here's the key thing. Here we are more than 1 week out. So these options aren't for this Friday, but a week from this Friday. And the total cost to enter this trade, assuming you do the midpoint of this, is I believe on the next slide, 4,700 and change. There we go, 47.62. So this gets back into this time. Is it theta? Well, whatever. This shows the theta impact on the price of the options, because let's just pretend we wanted to do the same trade for this Friday. So we're in I'm assuming you did it earlier today before the market closed. So you put this in on Tuesday for this Friday, you'll save the 7 day or the business week essentially is what you're going to save, because the options are much closer to expiring. That is this Friday versus a week from this Friday. Anyways, you could do the same thing for about it was 1,900 and change. So you're saving about 2,800. So this kind of shows you the options burning off in their value the closer they get to expiration. So I thought that was kind of an interesting.
And they just get cheaper because you have less time for them to run. So implied volatility is going to be much lower if you go out 5 days instead of 2 weeks, because there's a lot less chance of a stock running up in 5 days than 2 weeks or 2 months or 2 years.
Exactly. And so I think kind of, the way to play this one is that if you think you figured out the cyclical patterns for any stock, and obviously in this case it's GME, and you don't mind, putting up some gambling money, because when you're looking at these weekly options, they're cheap, but you only have one shot in order to make it work. Then, again, it might be a play for you. But again, this is, do your own due diligence. Don't consider this investment advice or any of that nonsense. So, okay.
Well, I'm just going to talk about Zim for a second because.
Oh, okay. And moving on to Zim, Josh, what's the delay down there?
Well, the earnings are tomorrow morning. When the time this goes up, earnings will have already happened. And I'm going to state this right now. They will absolutely crush earnings. I think that is pretty much like the probability is extraordinarily high that they will crush earnings. But will the stock actually move? And this is something that I'm trying to think about, because if it doesn't, I need to rethink my thesis. Because yes, they are pumping cash right now. Yes, they're extraordinarily undervalued. Probably this quarter they'll make about their market cap. So they're almost the 1 PE, almost even a little bit less, looking at forward guidance. But if the market is pricing in that shipping rates will be down in a few years, then Zim is not a great company. It is doing great because of the environment that it is in. If we saw shipping rates tank, this company's going to tank. At least their earnings, they're going to be terrible. They usually don't make much money. They are only making money because of the position that we're in. So I think the market right now is pricing in that, okay, yes, maybe Zim's making money right now, but if we look further out into the future, then shipping rates are going to be down. So Zim's not going to be making money if shipping rates are down. But what are the probabilities? We see more and more government intervention. They just issued a new law saying that every single day after like 7 days, shippers have to pay $100, and then an additional $100 every single day after that for like 30 days. But who does that get passed on to? That gets passed on to the consumer 100% of the time. More and more government intervention is going to drive up and keep shipping rates high, I believe. So I think we're going to be in a secular bull market for shipping for the next 5 years, because it's usually a fast run, extremely hard like the last one. But I think we could even see higher highs because of this massive amounts of government intervention. So will Zim fall off? Yes, but not yet. Yeah. And I'm willing to put a massive amount of capital to bet on that.
Yeah. And Josh, just for curiosity, do you remember what Zim's target price to earnings ratio is, or at least what it was last time? I mean, it's insane.
Right now, it's like 1.2, 1.3.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's if it was trading similar to other companies, other Martex is another company in the field. They have like a 3.5 PE, which is
Mm.
still extremely cheap. Zim would be trading around over $150.
Yeah, could you 3x it, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would be a 3xer. I would be trading over 150. I mean, right now they could buy back half their stock just with the cash they have on their balance sheet. They
Yeah.
after earnings, they're just in such a great position. We'll see what happens. I could be wrong, but if anything, I think I'm wrong with the timing, not with the fundamentals. And that's something that you have
Uh,
to be aware of.
yeah. Don't we all,
So,
Josh?
but you're not right if you don't get the timing right. So
Yeah.
earnings tomorrow, I think they're absolutely going to crush it. Then what's going to happen? Will the stock run? We'll see. I honestly think they're going to have an incredible day tomorrow, but I also have an extreme bias. If they don't tomorrow,
Yeah.
I'm still in the green. No matter what, right now I'm profiting. So I'll rethink my thesis tomorrow if I'm wrong.
Gotcha. Well, Josh, until tomorrow.
Yeah, no shit. So yeah.